slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Comment qu'on peut l'aider avec ses moyens à elle? The Quebec City Regional Health Authority says the Info Social team received 65,000 calls last year alone. Depuis 2020, il y a une augmentation de 60% du volume d'appels. The head of the health authority, Josiane Gaudet, says since 2020, they've seen a 60% increase in the number of calls. Almost 2/3 of the calls are from women. Gaudet says they're encouraging men to use the service. On encourage les hommes là, à utiliser le service infosocial. Gaudet says seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Shu Yili, CBC News, Montreal.
In international news, Mozambique is being battered by a powerful storm. Cyclone Chido slammed into the east coast early today, and that's after pummeling the French territory of Mayotte near Madagascar on its way. About 300,000 people live in Mayotte. Many are in tin roof shacks, which have reportedly been flattened by the storm. At least 11 people have been killed. Tens of thousands have lost their homes. Electricity, water, and internet connections are all down. France is sending emergency supplies and personnel. Brazil's president has been discharged from hospital after surgery to stop brain bleed. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva left hospital today and on doctor's orders headed for home for some rest. The 79-year-old Lula underwent a second surgical procedure Thursday for an intracranial hemorrhage. His medical team says the surgery went well. And that was the CBC News. In the weather, Montreal, Laval becoming a mix of sun and cloud near noon and a high of -6. Cloudy tomorrow and a high of +3. Quebec City, a 40% chance of flurries, a high of -9. A few clouds tonight and a low of -14. In the townships, a high of -6 today. Wind chill making it feel like -23 this morning. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of -8. And for tomorrow, a high of +3 under a mix of sun and cloud. Laurentians, a high of -5 today. Tomorrow, cloudy and a high of 1. Gaspé Percé, 0.
Man, I love that sound.
So beautiful and soothing, right?
Oh man, it sure is. This is producer Molly Siegel in our What on Earth studio where we're kind of blissing out right now.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, where are we right now?
This is Sitka, Alaska, which is a community of about 8,000 people on 2 islands northwest of Haida Gwaii on the Pacific coast. When I was
meet another and brush each other's horns, they might be exchanging information about the salinity, the salt level of the waters through which they have just passed, which means that they might be map makers, which I just think would be an extraordinary thing.
Yeah, this is the thing about how you write. You know, you're writing about real creatures, but you always seem to bring out the wonderful stories of their biology, their history, and the ways they feature in myth. But in the background, you also know that they or their subspecies are endangered. How did writing those essays then make you feel? Because on the one hand, you're living not necessarily in an imaginary world, but in this fantastical, wondrous world. And you also know that time may be limited for them and for us to be on this planet with them.
I think it is such a question that faces anybody who loves the living world, that our love is colored by knowledge that we are the greatest force of destruction that the world has ever known. And we are at risk of ending with near empty skies and near empty not just so much more urgently than we are currently moving, reverse the trend towards extinction. Gnolls are near threatened, but many scientists believe that that might be overly optimistic. And the main threat to them is climate change. The ice cover is melting too quickly for them to adapt, so they'll have nowhere to hide from killing the whales, nowhere to feed, and they communicate by clicks and buzzes. And shipping has rendered the ocean so loud that we risk rendering anything in the ocean which communicates by clicks, buzzes, small vocalizations mute to each other. And I think anybody who looks at the natural world and sees that it is something strange and extraordinary and infinitely more intelligent than we yet know has that doubleness of knowing that it is us who have put them at risk.
It's an interesting choice insofar as, of course, all kinds of people speak of endangered species, and they do it in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it's, in a more sort of lecturing sort of way, or in a more very like fact-based, here's what you need to know. But your ability to spark wonder in these animals amid the threats they face from climate change, it's a different sort of tack. And I'm sure you've thought about like how I'm going to approach this, yeah?
Yes, so the hope was there are spectacular books by scientists about the immediate urgency of climate change. And if you need a book packed with scientific rigor, there are so many. And so I thought what perhaps I could offer would be a book that is readable with jokes, with a sense of the extraordinary, the strange, the bewildering. I was hoping to woo people, to lure people in. In England I say, give this to your conservative grandfather, your conservative uncle, people who might not fully be willing to engage with something like David Wallace Wells's The Uninhabitable Earth, but might be willing to read an essay about the fact that there was a seal in Maine who learned to speak English. That sometimes you can lure people in with stories. It is what stories have always been able to do, both for good and ill. Stories can move a generation.
Speaking of conservative grandfathers, after Donald Trump won the U.S. election last month, and knowing he's vowed to back out of the Paris Climate Agreement, you have decided to donate 100% of your author royalties earned from this book, Vanishing Treasures, to climate charities, and you're going to do that in perpetuity. Catherine,
Yes.
You've had success as a writer, but that is a sacrifice on your part.
Financially, yes, writers don't make that much money, but equally, and I know also, I'm not naive. I know that faced with the billions of Elon Musk donating what might a book make in its lifetime, if you're lucky, maybe a few 100,000, but generally less, it won't make a huge difference. But sometimes protest needs to be done in order to remind yourself that you mean what you say and to prove it to others. Because in the same way that certain forms of dishonesty are contagious, so are certain forms of protest.
I'd like to end our conversation by thinking about sort of the two sets of creatures you've been living with in your mind, in your imagination, maybe in some ways in reality, in that when you write about things and think about them, they become very real to you. The mythical ones and the very real threatened ones. What have you learned about the creatures that are humans after spending so much time in your mind with mythical creatures and other creatures?
So I often think of the fact that human beings, we are breathtaking in our foolishness, our stupidity, our cruelty, our capacity for damage. But we are also spectacular in our capacity for change, for transformation, for care, for love. And I do believe that, truth, even truth temporarily defeated, is stronger than a lie. And there is this fact about humanity, which is that we are bioluminescent. There are the chemical reactions within the human body. They cast up photons, which are the elementary particle of light. And it's very weak. We can't see it. It's 1,000 times weaker than human eyesight. But we are glowing all the time, without stopping, from the day we are born to the day we die. And that glow is clustered around the face. And when I think of humanity, I think of us as so faulted, so exhausting, but nonetheless radiant. And I do continue to believe in humanity. I often think of Antonio Gramsci, the great philosopher. He said when he was arrested for pushing back against the fascist regime, he'd been in prison for 3 years, and he said, I am a pessimist because of intellect, because of intelligence, but I am an optimist because of will. And I feel that we need a willed optimism in the years ahead.
It has been just fantastic to listen to you, and so many good reminders in the world in which we find ourselves. And I just want to thank you very much, Catherine.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Catherine Rundle is the author of Impossible Creatures and Vanishing Treasures.
Story of refugees and whether they return, can depend on everything from personal to financial matters. But I think it's also a test to whether or not they establish a strong sense of belonging in the country that they go to. And I think Canada's done a relatively good job in that sense. And so I don't think we're going to see a lot of Syrian refugees that came to Canada leave, because I think we really work on creating that sense of belonging. We've got lots of challenges. I'm not suggesting we're perfect. But in Europe, that has been a problem. Discrimination and racism is much higher there. The experience there for a lot of Syrian refugees is different. And I think the one place we're going to see, and I agree with Kareem, people from Turkey returning, but other within the Middle East itself, within the neighboring countries, where there isn't a strong sense of belonging for them, despite the sort of similar cultural experience. But unfortunately, the discrimination in whether it's Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey is quite high. The lack of rights and status in those countries is going to, I think, induce them to want to leave too. So I think there are many, factors that will, determine whether or not people return. But certainly, I think it's too early to make a definitive judgment that now Syria is either safe to return to, or that Syria is stabilized in terms of the position of the people there.
Besma and Karima, thank you both for your analysis this morning. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Besma Momani is a professor of political science at the University of Waterloo and also a senior fellow at the Center for International Governance and Innovation. Kareem Shaheen is an editor with New Lines magazine. He has covered the Middle East as a correspondent for The Guardian in Beirut and Istanbul. I'm Pia Chattopadhyay. This is the Sunday Magazine on CBC Radio and streaming live on the CBC News app. Just go to the local tab and press play wherever you are. You can also find and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you exchange gifts over the holiday season, you may be in full-on panic shopping mode right now, or maybe you're one of those organized early shopper types who's already crossed off all the names from your list. Either way, holiday presents are the theme of our latest That's Puzzling Listener Challenge, an opportunity to play our monthly word game on air in January. We invited you to invent a made-up word for a holiday gift you open and instantly know you're going to return. As usual, dear listeners, you delivered plenty of great gifts to our inbox. Kai Cunningham writes, my word for a holiday gift you open and instantly know you're going to return is you let down. That is a combo of Yule, Y-U-L-E, and letdown. Kai's example, my mom's gift this year was a total Yule letdown. Why would I have any need for fluffy zebra socks? Mary Lang says she would call such a gift a presentment because it's a present that causes resentment. Dylan DeVakis in Sudbury, Ontario, who always sends in great letters, submits 2 ideas, writing, how do you like the word package? It is like a Christmas package, only you know it's going back to the store. I have received a few of these, and without a receipt, they become a return over. Julia Schneider also has 2 made-up word ideas, no keeperl, no keeper L, breaking up the word Noel and inserting keeper. She also offered up regiftogram. Ken Tuff in Port Moody, BC says, those gifts you instantly know you're going to exchange are many snappy returns. Jean Hughes in Toronto's word is missile throw. Susie Vaught in Prince George, BC combines the words relinquish and gift to make relinquift. And Pam Dixon came up with no-no, spelled K-N-O-W-N-O. So when you know a gift is going to be a no, it's a no-no. She also thought of open shutter. I'm wishing Pam and all our listeners 0 shutters when they open gifts this year. Keep those letters coming. We love to unwrap them. Once again, your challenge is to make up a word for a holiday gift you open and instantly know you are going to return. You can email us sunday@cbc.ca. Put "That's Puzzling" in the subject line. Please include your phone number. You have until midnight tonight to do so if you want a chance to play on air in January. And that could get you a coveted Sunday Magazine coffee mug or notebook. You can stream all past rounds of That's Puzzling, cbc.ca/Sunday. And once you get there, just hit That's Puzzling at the top of the page. This is the Sunday Magazine. I'm Pia Chattopadhyay, and it is a time of year when many of us are trying to recapture some of the wonder of the world, that wonder that we felt as kids. Catherine Rundell has a special gift for doing just that. As a children's writer, Catherine has been piling up accolades and devoted young readers at home in the United Kingdom in recent years, and now increasingly around the world as well. They're enchanted by the world Catherine's created in her breakout book, Impossible Creatures. It's an adventure story set in a world where mythological beings, griffins, unicorns, dragons, they're all real. But this season, Catherine is also hoping to make us grown-ups pause and wonder at some breathtaking creatures that are very real, but also threatened with extinction. They are featured in Catherine's new book. It's called Vanishing Treasures. Catherine Rundell, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's lovely to have you with us. You know, on top of sparking wonder with your books, you're also a scholar, a fellow at Oxford University's All Souls College, where you research Renaissance literature. And that, to me, sounds like a dream come true for a certain kind of bookish, library-loving person, is it?
It has been a real joy to get to spend so much of my life reading and thinking about what it is that books might be able to give us. And I just have a real love for libraries, even the ones that smell of, Dettol or feet. I still just love a library.
Sorry, I can't stop laughing at Dettol and feet. And so what is it about a library that you just not only feel at home, but you have so much wonder when you're in one?
But if you think about it, a library, especially some of the libraries I'm lucky enough to spend my time in, they are a repository for thousands, literally thousands of years of our best jokes, our most radical thoughts, our most nuanced visions of what it is to be a person. And we have put them down on paper and laid them out for people to gather up and find for themselves. And so in that sense, a library feels to me really like a room full of 1,000 beating hearts. It does